Good morning, everyone. Well, this week I've been learning a lot about nurturing stuff. I've come to gardening a bit late to the party really, but on a Friday night you'll see me sitting in front of the TV watching Monty and getting lots of different ideas of how to look after plants. So a couple of weeks ago I was given a plant to foster, and I will show you a picture of it. This is what it looked like when it arrived. It's a cactus, and it looked pathetic because it actually been sitting on a windowsill or something similar for 4 months, and in that time it's had absolutely no water, and it's had no care and attention at all. It's just dried up and sat there without anyone looking after it. So this plant arrived in my house with my son 2 weeks ago, and he'd already been in two minds as to whether to even bring it home because it just looked so pitiful, really. It looked like it was on its last legs. But they gave it to me because they knew that I couldn't bear to think of the thing dying, and I'd give it my best shot. So I took the soil out, changed the soil, and put it somewhere light, somewhere where I could keep an eye on it, and also started watering it, keeping an eye on it every day just to see how it would respond. And little by little, I'd stare at it after a few days, and I'd think, is it my imagination, or is this plant actually beginning to sort of rise up from its flattened, flaccid, horrible state? And yeah, you look at it and you think, nah, I don't know, I think I'm just imagining it. But 2 weeks later, I'm just going to show you the real thing now. This is 2 weeks down the road of being looked after. Ta-da! Now, that is a completely different plant. And the reason that is a different plant is because I took responsibility for it and I was going to look after it. And one of the things that struck me through this was that if I can look after something that looks pitiful, what is it within me? How have I been made that I can't bear to let things die on me with, I'm going to give it my best shot. Because this is just one example. I've gone in the garden and I found a plant that doesn't seem to be responding in the position it's in, and moved it to a different position, and then kept looking at it, looking after it, watering it, watching it respond. So that's been really exciting to see something flourish that looked like it wasn't going to. Sweet peas are another example. Again, I was given the responsibility to plant them out. And of course, once I got the responsibility, then I'm like, okay, now what have I got to do? Look it all up, watch these things grow up at their supports, which was something else that Monty has said. Monty, what's the word? Well, mentor, really. Monty says that you should always support a plant before it needs it. Now, whoa, what's that all about? So I've taken that on board. So anyway, the supports are up, and the sweet peas grew. And I learned that you have to keep picking them, because the more you pick them, the more they'll come. But also something else I learned was that they have tendrils, which are great for supports. They stop the whole thing flopping forward with their tendrils. They hook onto things. But of course, the other thing with the tendrils is sometimes they can get so caught up in the plant that actually they stifle it. So one of the recent episodes, they interviewed this little kid. I don't know how old she was, 3 or 4. I mean, they're doing these little films of children talking about their gardens, and one of the things she said was about how she'd been told that she had to snip these tendrils off. And it never occurred to me to do that. So I went out and I had a look, and yes, sure enough, there were some that were so stifling, so the tendrils had to come off. And then, of course, the plant is freer to move, and wave in the breeze. As long as you don't take them all off, obviously, because otherwise the whole thing falls flat. But it's just nature again, how it speaks to me of God's care for us, how God nurtures us. God wants to see us flourish, and that has been, nature in this season particularly has been a real opportunity for me just to stop and watch and look. I'm going to finish off with some verses that have stood out to me recently on this very subject. The first one reminds me particularly about the pitiful plant at the beginning, and it goes like this. O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My body longs for you. In a dry and weary land where there is no water. And you could just see the physical sort of evidence of what that looks like in a plant. And I'm going to finish with some different verses from Psalm 36, verses 5 through to 9, which go like this. Your love, O Lord, reaches to the heavens, your faithfulness to the skies. Your righteousness is like the mighty mountains, your justice like the great deep. O Lord, you preserve both man and beast. How priceless is your unfailing love. Both high and low among men find refuge in the shadow of your wings. They feast in the abundance of your house. You give them drink from your river of delights. For with you is the fountain of life. In your light we see light. Thank you.